read this report with good news. This is not necessarily good news, but I think news of recognition. I'm not sure if everyone saw in the paper that Mr. Charles Bud Thompson, age 89 of Chilton, died on Friday, April 11th of 2014. Mr. Thompson not only was a resident of our community, but had also been a teacher that worked here as well. And when we are aware of those that have served in our school district, we'd like to make recognition of them. In his obituary that I found in the, I believe this is the Appleton Post-Crescent, it indicates his vocation brought him to Chilton High School in 1956, and during this time he proudly coached basketball, football, golf, and track. So, you know, we'll remember him fondly for the contributions that he made to our school district. This from Mrs. Bergman and Mrs. Fryer, and I happened to be witness to this last Friday, so an interesting story. We're writing to let you know of a very kind and generous man by the name of Mr. Jim Scarda, a former principal of Chilton High School. Mr. Scarda is the great-grandfather of one of our former students who happened to be in Mrs. Bergman's classroom a few years ago. And as many of you know, our class goes bowling every Friday. Mr. Scarda started coming to the bowling alley to watch his great-grandson bowl, and he bought us pizza. Well, his great-grandson graduated, and yet Mr. Scarda continues to come to the bowling alley to buy pizza for the elementary, middle, and high school special education students every Friday. Even when he is unable to come, he orders the pizza in advance so that we never go without. What a very thoughtful man he is. Mr. Scarda turned 91 this year. I believe his birthday was this weekend, if not today. And he continues to enjoy our students and continues to watch them bowl. I was not feeling well on Friday, so I left school early, and on my way home decided to grab lunch at the bowling alley. And while there, decided to pay a visit to the special ed kids. Mr. Scarda was there, they're all eating pizza, and I said, I'm not very happy to find out about this. And he said, well, this has been a carefully guarded secret. I said, well, it's time I think that people know of your generosity. So thank you to Mr. Scarda, who for years, I believe, has been buying pizza for our special ed students on Friday afternoons. This is a news release that we received from Jostens. Chris Sockel brought this to my attention. Jostens, the leading producer of yearbooks and student-created content, today announced that Chilton High School's yearbook program has been a 2014 Jostens National Yearbook Program of Excellence. The National Yearbook Program of Excellence designates and recognizes dynamic school yearbook programs. The program recognizes yearbook staffs and advisors who create engaging yearbooks for their school communities. Jostens National Yearbook Program of Excellence Awards are presented twice a year, in May for yearbooks delivered in the spring and in September for those delivered in the fall. The award was presented to the Chilton High School Yearbook Program for achieving the defined criteria in each of the following three categories. Number 1, creating an inclusive yearbook. Number 2, generating school engagement. And number 3, successfully managing the yearbook creation process. The Chilton High School Yearbook Program will receive a plaque to display in the yearbook area and a banner to display in the school, so the entire school community will be aware of this outstanding achievement. So congratulations to all of those students and Ms. Sockel, who leads that charge for us each and every year. This in from Mr. Plattner. Perhaps you are already aware, but Alex Kellman won the district level of the Optimus Essay Contest, earning herself a $2,500 college scholarship. Just wanted you to be aware of this and add this to your good news to the board. Also, the local winners of the Optimus Oratorical Contest include Austin Dawson and Rachel Pador, who will be competing at the district level of that competition on Saturday, April 26th in Wausau. Do we know the results of that?
No.
Mr. Brittle? They each have a shot at an equally large scholarship, so I've yet to hear where that is at. This in from Mrs. Main. Chilton FBLA is proud to have 3 sophomores, Dominique Beagle, Emily Carls, and Joy Colby, to take first place in the state for business ethics and earn a trip to Nashville, Tennessee for the FBLA National Convention. These 3 young ladies had taken a first at the regional held in February here at Chilton High School earlier this school year. At state, they had to compete in a preliminary round against 20 other teams and then again against the top 7 teams. The scores were added together to determine the winner. Chilton High School will also be represented by Austin Dawson at the Region 6 as the Region 6 Vice President at Nationals. As a member of the FBLA Executive Board, Austin must attend. At the state competition, Austin competed in economics and he took 4th place. He was just 1 spot away from competing at Nationals. We also had 3 6th place finishers, Alex Callan, Celine Dietrich, and Claire Stiefvater for management and decision making, and John Shankus for help desk, and Nathan Stenz for public speaking. The 4 attending nationals have been asked to and will speak at the next Optimist Club meeting on May 7th. And you're here tonight, Mrs. May, to talk about that trip to Tennessee. Is that correct?
Yes.
This is in from Candy Koenig's kindergarten teacher. She writes, 4 years cancer-free is my good news. She continues to update us, and that is good news to hear. So we're happy for her and her family. Jane Schaefer writes, in grade 3S, I believe S stands for Schaefer, we have a student teacher, Bailey McAllister. She's doing a great job, and the kids are writing persuasive, informational, and narrative pieces about bullying. So starting in 3rd grade, that is the topic that our students are addressing. This in from Courtney DeArmond. Do you have photos ready? And I thought maybe Mr. Well, maybe.
This one?
Yes, maybe Mr. Johnson, you can help us with this. Mrs. DeArmond writes, here are pictures of our Subway lunch today. Today being, I believe today.
It was.
From our students' persuasive essays about why the general public should eat at their favorite restaurant. A huge thank you to Subway of Chilton for providing this lunch for all of our 7th graders. Congrats to Brianna Cook and Abby Reamer for writing such fantastic persuasive essays. Do you know how their essays became, how that translated to a lunch from Subway?
I don't know how the program initially started in terms of her curriculum as far as how that was part of the lesson. That part I don't know anything about. But I do know that all the 7th grade students wrote these letters, as you said, Dr. Martin, to various businesses that they've been to. So if you've been to Subway, you wrote to Subway, or if there's some restaurant in the valley or even around here that you went to, let's say Repke's, for example, you wrote to Repke's. I did hear numerous times that the students received some terrific positive responses from just about every place I think they wrote to. And as part of that, a number of those eating establishments sent those kids a wide variety of responses, including little gifts. For example, Subway supplied free lunch to every 7th grader.
Okay.
There were other restaurants that supplied just to that particular block, that particular hour. And then there were some that responded to just the individual student and said, here's a $20 gift card for the next visit. Things along those, so it was a wide array of responses, but very positive for the 7th graders.
Right, but wasn't intended for a give back.
No, not at all. It had nothing to do with the thought that they would get a response back, but they just did. And they got it from just about everybody, I think. That it seemed like so many places kicked in something in response.
The generous nature, once again, of our community in action. Also, fulfilling our district vision when we talk about creating partnerships with our community. So, very nice. This in from Mrs. P, who I believe is here. There she is in the back of the room. She says, I have a bit of good news. 14 vocal events advanced to state solo ensemble from district solo ensemble. State was held at UW Oshkosh this past Saturday. All of the vocal events scored a 1 or a 2, which is a gold or silver. Here are the events and their state ratings. Number 1, Dominique Bico for alto solo. Number 2, Lauren Mortimer for music theater female role. Number 1, Lauren Mortimer, for STSBATAB duet.
That's a duet with Jordan Apple.
Okay,
Yes.
all right. Number 1, Jordan Apple, music theater male role. Number 1, Lance Hefner, music theater male role. Number 1, Caleb Justinger, music theater male role. Number 1, Justin Schmitz, baritone or bass solo. Number 1, Lance Hefner, baritone or bass solo. Number 2, Adam
Alkire.
Baritone or bass solo. Number 2, Abby Sabo, soprano solo. Number 2, Kayla Riesberg, soprano solo. Number 2, Caleb Justinger, tenor solo. And number 1, Brianna Gonzalez, soprano solo. So congratulations to those students. What a fantastic representation of our school district, themselves and our district. This in from Mr. Benke. Good news to share, the middle school students just finished up their end-of-year fitness testing, and the results show that their hard work has paid off. Every category, upper body strength, flexibility, 20-meter shuttle, 1-minute sit-up, and push-ups showed improvement. The two biggest improvements came in flexibility and push-ups. And he gives a little example here. Middle school boys, test 1 versus test 2. In flexibility, I believe this is called Healthy Fitness Zone. They went from 49% to 75%. In push-ups, they went from 55% to 72%. Middle school girls in flexibility increased from 53% to 79%, and in push-ups from 54% to 80%. Two students really stood out as they made fitness a lifestyle priority for themselves. Is it Anthony Kohler? Am I pronouncing that right? He grew 2.5 inches. He lost a pound. He went from 37% to 21% body fat. He went from 2 to 13 push-ups and 28 to 41 sit-ups. He says his goal is to have abs by his sophomore year. How can you look that kind of goal in the eye? And then Gavin Stiefvater grew 2 inches, lost 21 pounds, and went from 34 to 20% body fat. So really great gains from our middle school students. All of this, of course, is part of, as you know, the PEP grant and the whole initiative on health and wellness. This is a bit of old news, but was not announced at the board. It was announced right after the last board meeting. This is from Mr. Aaron Jewell. He's putting his description of the Best Communities for Music Education Award below for me to share with you. Congratulations to the community and the school district of Chilton for winning a 2014 Best Communities for Music Education Award. This distinction is awarded annually to approximately 300 communities nationwide out of over 2,000 nominated. This award is given to recognize the commitment of community leaders, school administration, teachers, and parents who believe in music education and are working to ensure that it is part of a complete education for all children. Nominated communities were compared using a variety of factors, including opportunities to learn music, the presence of highly qualified certified music teachers, adherence to state and national standards, types of musical experiences offered, opportunities for performance and competition, and budgetary commitment to music, among others. To receive a Best Communities for Music Education designation, a community must demonstrate commitment to providing access and high standards for music education. Congratulations to our community for earning this honor. And it is quite an honor in the music world to receive this community. We have forwarded this information to the chamber and hope that they take pleasure in that recognition as well. And that concludes my report.
Okay. Thank you, Dr.